Hi everyone, in this video we will see how you can solve a online challenge. So we would be solving questions on HackerBlocks, which is a online competitive programming portal by Coding Blocks. And this time I'm going to pick up a problem called Manmohan Love's pattern. So let's go to this problem statement, right? So in this problem you're given n and your task is to print this pattern up to n lines, right? So you're given n equals to 6, so you want to print a triangle like this and it goes for 6 lines, right? So if you carefully analyze this pattern, right, so what you will observe is, okay, so you're also given the explanation for this pattern, right? So input format denotes what kind of input you will get. So sample input says 6, which means your input is a single integer and your output is a pattern, right? So for every odd number row we have to print one odd number of times, and for every even number of row we have the first and the last character as 1, right, and all the middle characters as 0. So it is pretty evident from the pattern also. So 1 2 3 4, this is an even number row, so all the middle digits will be 0 except the first and the last one, and again here also. And for all the odd number of rows, all the digits will be 1, right? So we have to handle the cases for odd rows and even rows separately. This is the first observation. And let's talk in more detail what all observations we have, right? Okay, so let's see here only. Okay, let me just make it clear, okay, how we are going to define the logic, right? So we are given n equals to 6, which means we will run the code for 6 rows, right? Okay, let me tell you here only. Okay, so the pattern is like this: 1 1 1 1 1 1 0 0 1 1 1 1 1 1 1, something like this, right? So this is the first row, the second row, third row, fourth row, fifth row, sixth row. Okay, so first observation is you have to print n number of rows. Second observation is in each row, or let's say in ith row, you have to print I digits. Okay, and if the row is even, right, then you have n minus 2 zeros, right? If you have the fourth row, you have 4 minus 2 zeros, so I minus 2 zeros you will have, and you have 2 ones, that will make I digits, right? And for odd rows, so for the odd row numbers you will have all ones. That's what you need to do, and you will print a new line character after every line. Okay, that's what you need to do. So you count 1 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 5. For odd rows you will need, so how many variables you will need? So you will need a variable n, you will need a variable for row number, you will need a variable for column number, and I guess that should be sufficient, right? So you need to iterate in this direction and in this direction as well, right? For every row you will initialize the column number to 1 and it will go till I. So we'll take a variable I which goes from 1 to, and we will take a variable column which goes from 1 to. Okay. So let's try to write the code directly, this time directly on HackerBlocks, right? So let's write the code directly in the code editor, because this editor does not allow you to copy and paste the code from outside, right? So let's write the code directly here. Okay, so let's read n. So we get the value of n, and then we need to iterate over all the rows. So let's say row number is 1, while row number is less than equal to n. We have to do some work. Okay, we have to read the value of n also. What work we have to do? We have to go to each column in that row and print the required value. So we will check if, okay, let's say int column equals to 1, and we will check if row is odd. So if row modulus 2 is 0, which means row is even, or if I say it's not equal to 0, which means row is odd, and else we will come to this block. Okay, so this is how we define a if else block inside the C++ code, right? So you have a if followed by condition followed by curly brackets, you have a else followed by curly brackets. So if row mod 2 is not 0, which means we are talking about odd row, in that case you will have all digits which will be ones. So you can say while column is less than equal to row number, you will print 1, you will see out I, or you will see out 1, and that's it, and you will increment column count by 1, and this you will repeat unless you have printed row number of ones here, right? And in the even row, what you're going to do, your first digit is 1, see out 1. Okay, and again column is 1, right? So column is again 1 here, and you can say while column is less than equal to row minus 2, you will see out 0. You can say column equal to column plus 1, and finally you can say see out another 1, and that's it. So yeah, one more thing that we have to do is we have to increment the row count for this while loop also. So we can say row equal to row plus 1, and when we are doing this we have to also print a new line so that we can switch to new line when we are going here. So let us test our code. So I'm going to use coding blocks online ID, and let's say input is 5. Let me run the code to see what is my output here. Okay, so you can see this is the output and it looks good. Okay, now we can submit our code here and let us wait for the results. So you can see we have passed all the test cases, and this is how we can solve a problem on an online judge, right? So you can use this approach on any online judge to solve problems, right? So what you need to do, you should read your input properly, you should see what constraints are given, and we will learn more about constraints in upcoming lectures.